Let us continue with the third unit of French Revolution. France abolished monarchy and becomes a republic. Louis XVI had signed the constitution, but he entered into secret negotiation with the King of Prussia. The rulers of other neighboring countries too were worried by the developments of France and made plans to send troops to stop the revolutionary events that are taking place in France. Before this could happen, the National Assembly voted in April 1792 to declare war against Prussia and Austria. Thousands of volunteers joined the army from the provinces to join the army. Thousands of volunteers joined the army from different provinces. People saw this war as a war of people against the king, against the kings. But it was not like that. It was against, not only against the king, it was against the aristocracy all over Europe, which was existed in Europe. Then the patriotic song Marseillaise, composed by poet Roger de Isle, was sung for the first time by volunteers from Marseilles as they marched into Paris, which is now the national anthem of France. See in the first paragraph. Then the revolutionary wars brought losses and economic difficulties to the people. Yes, always the war is not the good sign, it also brought the misery. Large number of people lost their jobs as well as their earning also. Then the Constitution of 1791 gave political rights only to the richer section of the society, not to the poor strata. Political clubs were established by the people who wished to discuss government policies and plan their own form of actions. Among them, so many new clubs were formed, among them only the Jacobin Club was becoming popular day by day. The members of Jacobin Club belonged mainly to less prosperous section of the society, such as like small petty shopkeepers, artisans, as well as servants and daily wage workers. Their leader was Maximilien Robespierre. Jacobins start wearing long striped. See in the picture. See in the picture. Jacobin starts wearing long striped trousers and came to be known as sans culottes, literally meaning those without knee breeches. In the summer of 1792, the Jacobin planned to revolt against this one. See here. In the summer of 1792, the Jacobins, means the members of the Jacobin Club, planned a revolt of a large number of people of Paris who were angered by the short supply and high prices of food. So on August 10th, they stormed the palace of Tuileries, massacred the king's guard, and held the king himself as hostage for several hours. यानी कि राजा को बंधक बना लिया. Later, the assembly voted to imprison the royal family, उनको तो मौका मिल गया. So they voted to imprison the royal family. Elections were held. What was held? Elections were held. From now on, all men above than 21 years, regardless of wealth, got the right to vote. And the new elected assembly was called the convention. See, in the new words also it is given on page number 14. Louis XVI was sentenced to death by court on the charge of treason. On the charge of treason. Why I am giving stress on this word? Because sometimes the question for 1 marks is coming. The Queen Mary Antoinette met with the same fate shortly after that, after the death of King of France, the Louis XVI. Then the reign of terror, the time period of terror. Whose terror was there? Now the question is there, ki whose terror was there? The terror was of Jacobin Club. The period from, that is why the period from 1793 to 1794 is referred as the reign of terror. As Robespierre followed a policy of severe control and policy. Because of this only, his time period is known as the reign of terror. Maximilien Robespierre was actually the founder of the member of the and the leader of the Jacobin Club. All his enemies, who were his enemies? The ex-nobles, clergies, and the members of the other political parties were his enemy. They did not agree with his method of arrested, imprisoned, and guillotined. What is this guillotined? I will tell you afterwards. Robespierre government issued laws placing a maximum ceiling on wages and prices. They tried their level best. So the meat and bread were rationed. Peasants were forced to transport their grains to the cities and sell it at price fixed by the governments. So there would no question of any corruption. The use of more expensive white flour was forbidden. All the citizens were required to eat the same quality and equality of bread, a loaf which is made up of whole wheat. Instead of sir and ma'am, all French men and women were addressed as citoyens and citoyennes. These were the changes which were brought by the Jacobin Club or Maximilien Robespierre. Churches were shut down and their buildings were converted into barracks or offices. He persuaded his policies so harshly that even his supporters start becoming his enemy. He was such type of man that the follower of Jacobin Club now are going against Maximilien Robespierre, and finally he was convicted by a court in July 1794, arrested, and on the next day sent to the guillotine. Now, what is this guillotine? Guillotine is actually a device consisting of two poles and a blade. Means दो पोल्स होते हैं और बीच में एक ब्लेड लगा होता है, with which a person is beheaded, यानी कि उसकी मुंडी काट दी जाती है. It was named after Dr. Guillotine, who invented it. Then the Directories rule. Then the rule of the directory came in France. So what is this rule of directly? A. A new constitution was introduced which denied the vote to non propertied section of the society. It provided for two elected legislative councils which then appointed a directory. What is this directory? It is an executive made up of 5 members. So what is directory? It is an executive which is made up of 5 members. The directors often clash with the legislative council, who then sought to dismiss them. The political instability of directory. The political instability of the directory paved the way for the rise of military dictatorship in France, which is headed by Napoleon Bonaparte. That's all in third unit.